I'm excited. The story is moving forward. We might potentially be saving an exec who's technically part of the bad guys. It's all starting to boil up, chat. It's all building. Not sure you're going to be able to leave on time. Don't you have such little faith in this situation? Come on, we'll be fine. It wouldn't be perfectly part for the story to not be able to leave right on time and get into a big situation full of conflict. No, we're gonna do this without a hitch. That's the most fun you can have in a story. Come on, reading 101, or writing 101, reading 101. Do the thing that's the least interesting, always. I mean, sometimes it's annoying when the story is like, nah, things always need to go wrong. True, but you need tension, right? Tension is exciting. So even if it's just like, it goes off without a hit, it's, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here. So there's a game called Blades in the Dark. It's a tabletop role-playing game. Not going to get too much into it, but it has a system where when you want to do something, you roll dice equal to the skill that you have. So let's say that you have a skill in sway of 3. That means you'll roll 3 6-sided dice, and the highest number is the one that you take. The way that the game works is if you roll a 6, it's an absolute complete success. If it is a 3 or a 4, it is a complicated success. And if it's a 1 or a 2, it's a failure. The reason that they do that is because, I think it's 3 to 5 specifically that are questionable. It's because you will roll those commonly. Like, they are the most common thing. And the reason that that's interesting from a story perspective is it's success with a twist. So, like, for example, let's say that you're trying to convince a guard to move. All right? Like, you're about to try and get into an area. The obstacle is a guard. And you know that the guard has, like, a car that he's very, very connected to. Like, it's very important for him. So you could rush up to him and go just like, oh my God, are you the owner of this type of a car? Because it's on fire right now, you know, like, and then you would have to roll. So if you rolled a 6, the guard would go, oh my God, my car, runs off, success. But if you were to roll a 3 to a 5, it would be like, oh my God, my car, please, like, come with me. I'm going to need your help, you know? And now one of your party members is suddenly stuck having to deal with that situation. This is just a quick example. And then obviously the 1 and 2 is just like, what are you talking about? I know where my car is. There's no smoke over there. You're lying to me. You're under arrest, whatever. How to say it? What I'm trying to say is it's just like a good story has tension. And I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I'm just saying I absolutely agree with you that it's annoying when stories always say, nah, everything goes wrong. But I do think that stories are great when it's things are going wrong, but there's hope, / things are going great, but there's a hitch. If you look at most television shows, that's normally what happens, right? Like, something big is about to happen, and then they try and move. If you look at it kind of like a sine wave, there's ups and downs. There needs to be. For a story to be interesting, there needs to be ups and downs. Even in, like, fight choreography in movies, right? Like, look at, like, any Jackie Chan fight scene. He always starts at the bottom. Like, he always starts at a disadvantage. He's either outnumbered, he doesn't have a weapon, whereas his opponents do have weapons. He's, like, literally, you know, like, to quote the Star Wars for a second, you know, like, he doesn't have the high ground. But, like, he'll work his way up to it. And he'll have, even within that, there's, like, ups and downs, right? Like, he'll have a moment where he takes out, like, 2 guys really quickly, and you're like, oh, shit, he's got a thing. And then a guy grabs him. You know, like, immediately that up turns into at least like a neutral. He gets stuck in a ladder. He's stuck in a ladder. Exactly. And then he realizes that he changes it around to taking that negative into a positive by using the ladder as a weapon all of a sudden. I don't know why I'm on this weird little tangent. I just find this stuff very fascinating in stories. To summarize it all, I absolutely agree. Stories should not be everything is going bad all the time, but stories should absolutely be improv. You know, just like in improv, there should always be a yes and or a no but. Otherwise, it's boring. If a character is trying, you know, to get something, it's great watching them try to get it. But it can't just be them walking into a room and getting the thing. there needs to be the door is locked, or the biggest, baddest looking SOB that you've ever seen is standing in front of that door. You know, how does our hero approach this? And maybe maybe it doesn't work. Maybe they have to get sent to the room before because they goofed somehow. You know, they tried to take on the big SOB and lost because clearly, you know, their like 130-pound, like 5'9" frame is not going to take on the 6'7", 300 pounds of fuck you muscle. But he comes back later, and the big bad evil guy is just like, huh, ready for round 2, huh? And he's just like, oh, I don't have to get ready for round 2. Because you see, I spent the last half hour befriending Buddy, who's just as big as you, and he's going to be the distraction for you now while I get into the next room. I don't know. Sorry, I'm I'm on a strange tangent at the moment. I approach this or try to approach stuff like this when I dungeon master as well. I like building lows so that you can raise the highs. You know, it's a great thing in storytelling where like you need to have the lows so that the highs feel better. You know, how to say, like I'm trying to think of either a movie example off the cuff. Oh, like Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. You know, there's the big holy shit, we're in a bad place. You know, how could, like, all these goblins and urukai are like surrounding us. I think it's specifically goblins. It's just like, how are we going to get out of this? They hear the booms and all the goblins go away. It's like, can this get any worse? Yes, it actually can. Balrog shows up. This foe is beyond any of you. Flee! Everyone runs. It's an intense moment, great cinematic situation. The camera angles are used specifically to show the size difference between everybody. We don't even get to see the monster to start with. We just know that Gandalf, who's one of the most powerful characters that we know, is frightened. And that tells us all that we need to know. So we run, we show, we finally get to see the big guy. We have the triumphant moment where Gandalf turns around on that small bridge and does his "you shall not pass" moment. And he does it, the thing comes down, you watch the Balrog fall, and you're just like, holy shit. We did it, you know? You get that moment. And then all of a sudden you see that whip crawl up from the distance and wrap around his leg. And for that one moment, you had a slight low, like a low that built into a high, and then an immediate rug pull as you watch Gandalf get pulled and do the fly you fools moment, you know? And now you're like, how to say it? You're in a low, but you're invested. Like, you want to know what is going to happen to the characters now because a major character just got sacrificed to make sure that the other main characters made it through. What I'm saying is highs and lows. Highs and lows are very important for storytelling. And sometimes you hit somebody with multiple lows so that the high is super satisfying. There's a reason that when a downtrodden hero finally beats down the bad guy, like even in movies where like flat out, like the bad guy gets shot, like gets the katunk, and you just see from the angle the main character, pull the pistol out and fire, and you just hear the shot and that's it, and then there's silence. There's still a moment of fuck yeah in those moments, right? Like, why wouldn't there be? You've watched this character struggle. You have seen them had kicked while they're down, metaphorically and physically, throughout an entire series of events. And now they finally did it. Why would you not be hype about that? And it's all because you've watched those lows with the little victories in between that get you engrossed in the character. But yeah, I don't know exactly where I'm going with this anymore. I'm really bad for that. There are people in this chat who are aware that I will go on to a big ramble about something that I want to talk about, and then in the end, I'm just like, I know all of this relates to the topic that I'm trying to explain, but I don't remember what I was trying to explain anymore. Summary: make your characters likable, even if they're bad. Give them victories and give them defeats, and just make them human. If you can make a character human, And if you can give them the, I don't know, like the hero's journey exists for a reason, right? Like there has to be a low, there has to be a defeat for the character to get back up from. And I guess that's my final statement there. Like, there's nothing wrong with defeats as long as they're used well. There you go. That's the last of this gosh dang rant. We're back to running around in a video game.